And now I'd like to introduce Giles Davis from, who's going to talk about Wales from London.
God, how lucky am I coming on after that? It could have been a chicken, or it could have been... there you go. I've not lived here long, so I sort of signed up for this slightly, some might say, eagerly, and I've regretted it all day. Whenever you want. Okay, right. As I said, I moved to Wales in July, and I signed up for this, and I thought I'd tell you a little bit about some of the odd things I've noticed since I moved here. A lot of it based on people asking me, why are you moving to Wales? I received this card, I don't know if you can see it, said life hadn't been the same since the move to Wales, with a couple of kids looking depressingly out. That's from the Labour Book of Common Prayer, sent to me by someone who's lived in Cardiff for 15 years. And I think the sentiment is right, because life hasn't been the same. I think the message isn't wrong. The hilarious joke I always got was, £5.40 to get in and you don't have to pay to come out. And also, then I picked up on this sort of incipient racism that used to happen, and people would mention sheep and incest and things like and black hats and all of this. And I, as a born and bred Londoner, suddenly started getting the hump a bit. Also, people would talk about rain, and that's pictures of lots of snow, but I think my next Ignite will be about the different kinds of rain I see from my window, which are probably very good for raising chickens, but we'll find out more about that in a minute. So, I mean, one of the things I was going to say is that Howie's had a thing about, you know, it does rain a lot, but we know what to do with it. And it isn't Howie's per se, but that entire thing in 2006 about, look, get out there are hills, there are mountains, there are streams, there are rivers, there's walking, there's biking. Widening Kennedy did this fantastic campaign about an area of outstandingly bad mobile reception, outstandingly bad agencies, because you can obviously never find their ads on the internet and get crummy ones like that. And that was the point I was saying to people. They say, why do you move to Wales? You live in London, and this is my desk. You can't quite see, it's my very hungry caterpillar mug. And I can see the River Usk, I can see the Brecon Beacons, sometimes sheep, sometimes cows. Usually people start getting it at that point. Usually. But then what happens after that is they say, yeah, but Wales, aren't they all getting hammered the whole time? I say that is part of the lively culture. It is a cultural area. I said, this is obviously St Mary's Street, and a charming fellow. I said, it could be worse. I could live near Swansea, of course, where all the trannies are cage fighters. Which I personally, when that came in the news, I felt really proud, and which is quite odd because I'm an Araviste. And I noticed that there was a change in me. Suddenly, I was beginning to feel rather proud. Dylan Thomas, not dressed as a woman, but obviously a complete caner. You know, you start thinking about Welsh culture, and you think of, you know, Richard Burton reading Under Milk Wood, and you think, God, you know, it's just fantastic lilt to the voice. You think of the singing and all that. You think of Tommy Cooper, obviously, who was born in Caerphilly, and if you ever go to Caerphilly Castle, it is the worst statue you will ever see of anyone ever of Tommy Cooper. And once you start saying to people, well, you've got Dylan Thomas, you've got Tommy Cooper, you've got the fantastic environment, people start beginning to get the idea, and we thought, well, what we should do if we're going to be here is, you know, make an effort. And it was a bit like, I don't know if you saw Bruno's speech earlier where he was saying, now I'm going to learn Arabic. I thought, oh, yeah, I thought beginning to learn Welsh maybe might be a good idea, but not quite as difficult as Arabic. Facebook does really good targeted advertising, and here's a picture of somebody doing sign language for Welsh, which I assume means it's so difficult you're better off signing it. And if you're interested, I learnt at the Green Man, of which there's a picture next, in the R&I deaf bit, that is a sign for I love Wales, Wales being the 3 ostrich feathers. And I heard a whole story about that on Wikipedia, but I can't remember it, and I'm not going to tell you all about it. But the point being, then I went and spoke to a friend, and I said, right, what Welsh do I need to know? And he said, who knows what popty ping means? Yeah, microwave. Oven that goes ping. Other great words that... It's the only one I can remember. Other great words that I read that the Welsh have given English is, of course, penguin, which means white hat, and corgi, which means dwarf dog or boiler mender. And obviously in Wales, you have places with a penis in them, which I spotted on my Ordnance Survey map the other day. And I thought, I've got to put that in a presentation once, so why not tonight? And then at that point, I started realising, you know, actually it's London that's wrong, rather than Wales or indeed the rest of Britain that's wrong. That is a terrible chart. And I started realising there was a change in the way I was thinking. It's only taken 3 months. And the other day I was on the train coming back, and I bought some Welsh cakes in Marks and Spencer's in Paddington, and it said on the back, made in Wales. And I was really pleased. And I thought that was a completely irrational. I was so pleased, I tore it out and kept it in my bag. And I thought, this is a very strange thing that's happening to me. And then I had to change the address. You can see the old vicarage in Abergavenny. And I got a Welsh driving licence. And I felt really proud. And I thought, look at that, it's official. I mean, ID cards are bad, boo. And I suddenly thought, there is absolutely something brilliant about being here. And then I was rather proud when I saw all the singing and all the rest of it. And it just remains for me to say thank you for having me. And long may I stay here. So thank you very much.